Hi everyone, and welcome to Squirrel Pie Productions. My name is Tommi. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as DynamiteTrujillo. Welcome to episode 81 of my podcast. Thank you so much for being here. A big welcome back to returning viewers and welcome to new viewers. Thank you so much for checking out my channel. Today is another wonderfully glorious, sunny and warm Wednesday here on the Northern California coast where I'm coming to you from. We have a Ravelry group for this podcast. That's where you'll find knit-along stuff, giveaway stuff. You can also find show notes for the episode in the description box below, as well as a link to the Ravelry group. So check that out if you're interested in anything that I talk about today. And if I missed anything, please let me know and I will add it or answer your question or whatever it is. Okay, so I don't have any admin for this episode. I haven't for a couple weeks. We're not doing any knit-alongs right now or anything like that. So we are gonna get right into my first finished object. I finished my Spousal Socks 2.0 for my husband Colin, and here they are. Wabam! One really big pair of socks. All done. So this is Regia Pairfect in some colorway that I don't know because I cut the colorway off the tag a long time ago. So I threw it away. Anyway, I like it though. It's this really cool kind of like 70s color palette stripe pattern on the leg, and the rest is navy blue. This is a 72 stitch count sock. I knit them top down with a 2x2 cuff and a heel flap and gusset, of course, and a wedge toe. I used the entire 100 gram skein of this yarn for these socks. I don't know what size shoe he wears, but he's got bigger feet, so that was really great that I could use up the entire skein of yarn and not have any left over, and they were really fun to knit. They took me a very long time. I started them, I don't know, at least a year ago, maybe two, I don't know, but I started them and then put them down for whatever reason, and then I picked them up not too long ago and finished them up pretty quick. Because they were pretty fun, because it's just stocking it. So that's all there is to say about these exciting beasts. I like them, he likes them, he likes them, he likes them. They fit good. Okay, that's it for those. That's my finished object. Let's move on to whips. My knitting works in progress this week consist of 2 pairs of socks and a top, a sweater, a top, a shirt. My first whip is living in this linen drawstring bag that was made by Martha of Tuft Woolens, and it is my Lyne Socks. So the Lyne Socks is a shorty scalloped cuffed sock pattern by Dawn Henderson, and I am almost at the end of the first sock. So the pattern starts top down with the scalloped cuff, and then it goes into a ribbed top, stockinette bottom. After you do the cuff, you go right into the heel. I did change this pattern a little bit to omit all of the twisted stitches because this girl does not like twisted stitches, so I got rid of them. And I just replaced them all with knit stitches. The pattern looks really great with the twisted stitches, but you know. So I've got just regular one by one ribbing on the top. And I'm doing a wedge toe. I've been doing like all wedge toes recently, which is pretty different than what I used to do, which is what I kind of called a rounded toe with a Kitchener at the end. It's not a name that makes sense, but it's this weird toe that I used to do. And I still like it, but I've been just kind of in a wedge toe phase, so that's what I've been doing. And I'm like halfway through it, so. I'm knitting these on a size 0 on my Chiaogu mini twist interchangeables. And the yarn that I'm using is Nox Yarn Co. and it's beautiful, and I love it. So this is her Mars sock base. It's merino, superwash merino and nylon, and it's in the Bifrost colorway. And it's just wonderful. It's, you know, one of these speckly / variegated kinds of colorways, and it's all these like soft neons and pastels with like black speckles, and I like it. It's really pretty. So that's those shorty socks. I really like how it fits. I'm really excited to finish the first sock and like really try it on and kind of get a gauge for how it feels. And with any luck, I will have a pair of shorty socks done by the end of summer. That's kind of how it goes. What are you gonna do? My next sock whip is a pair of Real City Rollers Littles, and these are being knit for my daughter Lucy. And I have one sock done. So here's the first one. I'm knitting it's the second to largest size, which might be the 9 to 12 month size. I'm not sure, but it will say in my project page, which is linked in the show notes below. But it's the second to largest size. Real City Rollers Littles is a great free pattern. It's my favorite baby sock pattern. I've tried a few, and these are definitely my favorites. They have a heel flapping gusset, which I think works really great on baby feet, like really great. And I always just kind of knit them like a tiny bit too big so she can wear them longer. It's got a wedge toe, and the cuff is just rolled stockinette. So the yarn that I'm using is fully spun in the brunch colorway. Here's what I have left from this sock. And I kind of just took leftovers from the socks that I knit for myself. So I had a few little random balls, and that's what I had left over from that. This is the second little ball that I'm knitting the second sock with. And the brunch colorway was really cool. It was a lot of golds and purples and pinks. And this sock, it's top down, is starting out with a pink cuff. And this one had a purple cuff. And this one's gonna go into yellow as well. So these are fun. Again, I'm using a size 0 magic loop. I really like that sock pattern. I've knit a lot of them so far. My next work in progress is a new cast on, yay! And it's a sweater by Jessie Mae Martinson. It's her very new pattern called the Diaphanous Raglan. I've been waiting for this pattern to come out ever since she started teasing it. I really, really like it. It's one of these patterns, well, it's one of these patterns. It's a pattern that uses fingering weight yarn held double with a lace weight yarn, but for the sleeves, it's just the lace weight. So it's really cool and like really fancy looking, and I really like it. And here it is. Okay, so it's all in pieces. It's all of this stuff because construction. So it's got this interesting construction where you knit this shoulder piece first, and then I'm knitting this shoulder piece now, and then they all get joined in the round. So here it is so far. And it's got the fingering held together with the lace here and here, and then here in the middle, this is your sleeve cap. This is just the lace weight. And the way you knit this is really freaking fiddly. Like really fiddly. And she says that in the pattern. She's like, it starts out fiddly, you guys, but it's worth it. And I agree, it's gonna be worth it. Oh, but this is fiddly. So pretty much what you're doing is you're knitting, you have your, okay, let me show you the yarn first, and then we'll talk about this. And of course I'm all tangled, because that's how I do things now. So this is one skein of fingering weight, the Moonstone Dyeworks Merino single. this is one skein of Moonstone Dyeworks. It's not a base that I carry. It's a non-superwash Falkland Merino lace weight yarn, and it's a skein that I got as a sample from the supplier that I use for my non-superwash organic merino Falkland fingering weight yarn. It was just a sample skein that they sent me, and I don't even think they carry this right now. The way they stock things is really erratic because they're smaller producers, so they have to actually, you know, wait for things to get processed. And so a lot of times they don't carry what I want, and sometimes they do carry what I want. I don't even think they're carrying this right now, and who knows when they'll have it back. So unfortunately, I won't be able to stock this, but it's really pretty. And I came up with a new colorway for this top because I really wanted something deep and dark and saturated for this top. And so I came up with this purple called Ursula. And I put this up on Instagram and I asked you guys for suggestions for names. You came up with some really amazing names. A lot of them were space themed and a lot of them were like gem and mineral themed, which was so perfect. You guys know me. But of course, as you do, I was like, I want to name it something totally different that doesn't have anything to do with anything. So I named it Ursula because it reminded me of Ursula from The Little Mermaid, which I love, and I'm actually really, really, really excited because Disney is making a live action Little Mermaid, and they cast, is it Halle? Okay, so a few episodes ago, I talked about a duo that I like called Chloe and Halle. They're sisters. They make really, really, really good R&B music. And the younger sister, who I think is Chloe, maybe it's Halle, I don't know, one of them, the younger sister, got cast as Ariel. I was really excited about that the day I found out. I just like, Anyway, so I've been like really thinking a lot about The Little Mermaid lately because it was one of my childhood favorites. It was popular in the 80s, so like I was right at the right age for it when it came out. Anyway, so I named this after the sea witch Ursula, and I really like it. It definitely looks a little bit different on the non-superwash than the superwash, which is kind of the way things go with dyeing yarn. It's much darker and more saturated and more kind of deeper and richer on the superwash, and then on the non-superwash it's much more muted, which I also really like. And so I really like how they look held together. And so pretty much back to the construction, what you do is you split one skein of your fingering weight yarn into two smaller cakes, and you work. So you work the yarn held double here, and then when you get here, you drop the fingering weight, just work with the lace weight, and then pick up your second ball of fingering weight for this side. And you do that back and forth over the whole thing. And the thing that's annoying about it is that your yarn gets twisted. And that's it. That's the only annoying thing. And so every single time, so like pretty much once every row, every single time you come to the point where you have to drop a fingering weight, you have to untwist your yarn. You have to sit there with your cakes and go like this. And pretty much I can only work on this pattern if I'm sitting at my desk with my 3 cakes laid out in front of me, and so that I can kind of so that I can play, you know, cups with them. And I can't like sit on the couch and knit on it, because when you're sitting on the couch knitting on something, your yarn's like next to you instead of in front of you, and that just doesn't work. So it's a little bit like annoying because I can only knit on it in a certain spot, which means I can only knit on it during certain times of the day, because like it's a teeny bit fiddly. But I'm almost done with that part, and once that's done, you join in the round, and then I think you can stop doing that. I say that, but I haven't read ahead in the pattern. I'm pretty sure that's how it works though. But so I have this one done, and I've got my Tilting Planet Progress Keeper on it because it matches the yarn. And I've got this on holders. These are my Hiya little panda holders because it's still just on the cable. And now I'm working on the second one, and I think I'm about halfway through. And so I've got all my yarn attached here. And I'm knitting this on a size US 7, which is what is called for in the pattern. I did swatch for this, but not with this yarn. I swatched with another Moonstone Dyeworks fingering merino single and hand spun lace weight, which is, before I dyed this colorway, what I thought I might want to make this sweater in. I swatched for it. I got gauge, but I didn't quite like how I thought it was going to turn out. So this is what I originally swatched with, and I already ripped out the swatch, so I can't show you that. But this is Moonstone Dyeworks in the merino single base in the Gemini colorway. And then this is some hand spun that I had on my wheel, just on a bobbin, for a very, very long time. And this is some wool and bamboo. And I'm not sure what breed it is. I bought it at like one of my local wool festivals years ago, and I got like a pound of it. And I spun up this lace weight single, and it sat on my Lazy Kate forever because I didn't like spinning it, so I just stopped. And my original intention was to just spin a sweater's quantity, and I was going to make it like a 2-ply or something, so it was going to end up being a fingering or a sport or something like that. But I just never wanted to spin it anymore. So finally, I was just like, oh, I need a lace weight for this. It's brown. It would probably go really good with Gemini. So I just caked it right off of the bobbin. And it worked great. So it's just a single ply. But, and I do think I'm going to use it. I really like, it's like a ton of yardage. I did not count yardage because I didn't even put it on a nitty naughty. I didn't skein it. I didn't wash it. I just put it right in the cake, and I was like, I'm just going to knit with it how it is. But it's a lot of yardage. But so they looked pretty good together. There's a pretty big contrast between these two yarns, so it did marl pretty heavily. And I kind of wish I would have saved the swatch to show you because it looked pretty cool. It almost looked like the animal print, which I don't do a lot of animal print stuff, but I totally think I would have felt comfortable in this like faux animal print marl sweater. I think it would have looked really cool. But the thing that really stopped me is that if the whole sweater was marled, kind of looked like leopardy animal print, and then the sleeves were just the dark brown, I felt like that was going to be a little too much of a contrast, and that maybe it would look a little like a baseball top, you know, one of those Raglan baseball tops with the like dark sleeves. And that's not the look I was going for, so I decided not to go with it. So these are waiting for a different project. And I actually think I might use my Gemini cake in Kalisha of the Quirky Monday Craft Casts shawl pattern that's going to be coming out sometime in the future called the Gemini shawl. I think that would be perfect. So I think I might use this and a couple other skeins. That was the Diaphanous Raglan that didn't happen, but I figured I would get similar gauge on the yarn that I used, so I didn't re-swatch. And I did end up measuring my gauge from just this. I know it's unwashed, but it matched my pre-blocking gauge for the other swatch. So anyway, moving on from boring gauge swatch talk. I think it's gonna be a really nice top to have in my wardrobe. It's a really cool piece. It's got a nice V-neck, and it's got a V-neck on the front and the back, and I'm really hoping my V-neck turns out nice and deep. I don't know exactly how it's gonna turn out. It looks different on different people, and there's kind of instructions in the pattern on the deep V-neck that she suggests and also how to make it shallower. So I'm hoping going with her deep suggestion or her deep instructions, it'll be nice and deep. And I think it's just gonna look really cool with the like open, lacy, airy sleeves. There's a bunch of different options for like how you can do the sleeves and the body and stuff like that. So there's a couple different sleeve options. One is a bell sleeve, one is a bishop sleeve, which I hadn't heard of before, but I think that's kind of where it like bubbles at the end. I'm not sure, but I'm not doing that one. And then one is just short sleeve, and then there's also a short flutter sleeve. I think I'm gonna do the bell sleeve but I'm not sure. Also, I think there's an option for waist shaping or no waist shaping. Definitely going to do waist shaping. I'm doing the smallest size. Now, according to her suggestion of ease, I probably should be doing the second to smallest size, but I'm doing the smallest size. I think I learned from the Caitlin Hunter, I have it right here in my show notes. I learned from my Soldatna crop that I wish I would have done that one in the smallest size rather than the recommended size for the ease that she recommends, the small instead of the extra small. So I liked the idea of positive ease in these like little short kind of tops, but I regretted not doing the smaller size in that one, which would have given me like no ease. And so I'm going with my gut on this one, and I'm not knitting for the positive ease that maybe I should be. I'm knitting for no ease, which is fine. You know, she says in the pattern, you can do it at no ease. It's gonna be fine. So, and plus, I'm an adult. I can do what I want. Meh. Anyway. I'm just making fun of myself because I'm trying to justify my choice of size pick to myself in the camera. Anyway, not to you. You don't care. I know you don't care. But, so I'm doing the smallest size, and I think that's going to work out great. And I'm kind of picturing it with a deep V-neck, really nice, cool, flowy sleeves, a cinched-in waist with the waist shaping, and kind of cropped, but not too cropped. And, yeah, I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be really cool. And Jessie Mae's patterns are just amazing. I've knit one of her patterns in the past, the Ripple Bralette. I now really want to knit the Ripple Crop. And was there another one I wanted to knit? I can't remember. But she's got another one coming out too that's really cool. I really like her patterns. I think she's coming out with really unique, really interesting patterns right now, and I'm really excited about her. So that's my Diaphanous Raglan. I've got the shoulders almost done, and hopefully soon I'll be joining in the round, and then I can get moving on it a little harder. Okay, so that is all of my knitting stuff. I do have a bunch of other stuff though that I did this week. This episode's got knitting, sewing, weaving, and spinning in it. I did all the things. So the first weaving finished object I have is this flower. Isn't it cute? It's on this, what do you call it, laser woodcut little flower shaped loom. And it's so pretty. So it came as a kit from Valley Maker, and here is their card thing. It's the flower weaving kit, and it came as a kit, so it came with the little wood loom and all of the yarn that I used, just like really cute little like tiny mini skeins of yarn. And I do have some left over too that I'm keeping that I'll use in a different weaving. And the yarns that it came with are really, really cool. This is like a boucle, and then this was just roving. And then this one right here, this like darker purple gray, is like some kind of plant material that's like really raw and really chunky and really straw-like. It was really thick and like stiff and really cool to work with. And then there's some other little kind of fluffy yarns in here. It's mostly like grays and purples and golds. My whole lilac and gold thing, I didn't even put that together when I was making this, but it was a kit. So. And this was sent to me as a birthday gift from my friend, and so she kind of knew what's up, I think, with my lilac and gold obsession right now. So I really love how this came out, and then I just kind of tied some of the yarn off on the ends. This was my warp yarn, so it's got a little hanger. And this was really, really fun to make and really quick. This was like one session of weaving. It took me, I don't know how long it took me, but maybe an hour? I don't know. But I love it. Here's the back, in case you're interested in that kind of thing. So I will link to the maker of these kits in the show notes below if you're interested in buying one of these. It was really awesome. She also had a cute little tutorial on YouTube on how to like specifically do it with this little loom. And now I need to get another loom because that was my only, because it was a kit, so it came with a loom, so that was my only loom. And I had, the other weaving I did was also a kit that came with its own loom. So now I need to get another loom if I want to do any more weaving. But I will, I want to, I'm going to do that. I'm going to get a loom. It's going to happen. So that's it for weaving. Moving on to spinning, I have had this fiber on my spinning wheel for a very long time, and I finally got it off. I have a Shocked Ladybug spinning wheel, and I love it so much. I love my Ladybug. And so this is some Spun Right Round. It is Rambouillet in the Flock Together colorway. And this was some comb top that I have been working on spinning for a pretty long time. I finally finished the last bobbin of it. And I did a 3-ply, so this is a 3-ply. My 3 bobbins were so uneven that I ended up having, what I did is I 3-plied from my Lazy Kate, which is on the Ladybug that I have attached to the actual Ladybug wheel, until one of the bobbins ran out, and I still had a ton left on the other 2, but they were also very uneven. So what I did is I just caked them all up, all my singles, and then I divided those cakes into 3 equal-sized cakes, and then I continued plying from those cakes, which worked out really well, but it was just so ridiculous and so funny how uneven my bobbins were. It was nuts. So this is a really cool, kind of mostly gray yarn with pinks and yellows and some like slate blues. And it's a 3-ply, so it's all very marled, and I have a feeling the way it plied up, it's gonna come out, if I knit it into like socks or something, it'll come out kind of stripy marled. But here it is. It was really nice to work from, really nice drafting this. I did it as a short forward combined with a short backward draw, which is my typical way of drafting my fiber. Now it's a 3-ply. My original intention with spinning this was to do sock yarn. So I was hoping to go as thin as I could, but I'm not that great at spinning really, really, really thin yarn. So it's, well, okay, so it's 100 grams. And I measured at 218 yards before washing. So that's like a worsted weight kind of calculation. And I could see this being worsted, but I think maybe it's more of a DK. But it's definitely not anywhere close to a fingering, but that's okay. I'm totally down with making socks with thicker yarns. So it might still be socks, but I'm not sure. It is very lofty and puffy and like round and bouncy looking. So it might be better suited for something else, but I'm not sure yet what I'll do with it. I don't love letting handspun linger in my handspun stash for too long, because if I know that if I let it get started on lingering in the stash, it will stay there forever. So if I have the foresight to just knit with it right away, then that's my best chance of it not sitting there for literally years and years and years and years. But I don't know yet. I don't feel like an immediate drive to knit with this right now. But it is very pretty. It was very, very nice to spin. And now I'm excited to pick my next thing of fiber from my fiber stash to see what I'm going to spin next. Okay. The last segment of the crafting portion of the podcast is sewing. I I sewed a pair of underwear. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. But here they are. I sewed underwear. So, okay, the reason why I sewed underwear, not because I think it's the most practical thing in the world, because I don't, because I don't think I'm going to be sewing many more pairs of underwear. They don't feel that great or fit that. They fit fine. They feel fine. They're fine. They're fine. But they're like, I definitely wouldn't grab these instead of like my store-bought underwear. But anyway, so I got this pattern for free and I used leftover fabric, and I thought it would be really just a fun little project to kind of teach me more skills, experiment with new things, and see how it went. And I'm glad I did it. So anyway, this is the Acacia pattern. And this is a pattern that you can buy, but it's also a free pattern if you sign up for their newsletter, which is what I did. So, I guess I can show you this stuff too because it's sewing. So I purchased a couple of their paper printed patterns a couple weeks ago, and I got the Brumby Skirt, which is a pattern that I'm going to be sewing for Kristen of Woolen by and Sew Along. And then while I was there, I also liked this pattern, and this is the Eucalypt. Is that what it's called? Eucalypt. It's the Eucalypt top or dress, and it's a sleeveless shift dress or shirt. And so I got those two in the mail. I haven't started them yet. I don't have fabric for them, but that was cool. While I was there, they said if you sign up for our newsletter, we will give you 2 free patterns. And I was like, thank you. Yes, please. I will take 2 free patterns. And one of them was the Acacia underwear, and the other one is a skirt, which I think I might also make. I don't know. But yeah, I got tempted by the underwear. So I printed out the pattern. It was a PDF that got emailed to me, and it was really easy to tape together because, you know, I get really turned off by having to tape patterns, PDF patterns together. It was like 6 pages. So that was super easy. And it was really simple. It was 3 different pieces that you cut out 4 pieces of fabric for, and it took a very small amount of fabric. Like I had this left over from a Tilly and the Buttons pattern that I sewed. It was the jersey shift dress that I can't remember what it's called, but I'll put it here somewhere. So this was literally from scraps. It was like real scrappy pieces of fabric. And really simple to cut out. I went to my local fabric shop called Fabric Temptations, and I bought this lingerie elastic, which is the type of elastic that has these little scalloped edges on it. And I just wanted to experiment with that kind of stuff. So the lingerie elastic seemed like it was kind of meant for underwear because it came with 1 length of this kind of thicker elastic and 1 longer length of this thinner elastic, and it was almost perfect for cutting the waistband and 2 leg holes worth of elastic. So it was really quick to sew this together. It made me realize though that I am very much lacking in certain skills, and those skills are zigzag stitch. So bad at it, so bad at zigzag stitch with jersey. And I've done it a lot. I've made kind of a lot of garments with jersey fabric using the zigzag stitch. And I don't know, I guess I'm just not getting any better at it. I don't know, maybe I need some more concentrated practice, like more, what do you call it? Like guided like tutorials or something, because I'm just doing it and I don't think I'm getting any better, and I'm still like, so like this is one of the gussets, like I still get that a lot, and like maybe that's just normal and you know just like always are gonna get that with the zigzag stitch. I don't know, but so it made me realize that I'm really not good at using zigzag stitch with jersey. It also made me realize, and this is no shocker because I haven't worked that much or at all with elastic. I'm real bad at elastic. So if you can see, all of my elastic is very wavy, and especially doing like top stitch zigzag stitches over elastic, like it's all very wavy and puckered, and like some areas are like really stiff and some are really thick with like with thread and with the stitches themselves, and it's just like it doesn't lay nicely at all. I mean, when it's stretched out, it's fine, but when it's just like this, it's like really messy looking. And so I'm just gonna have to work on that. Like, look at this. This is a leg hole opening. Like, what is that? It's like all over the place. But I mean, it was my first time doing it, so, you know, experimenting. I had a lot of moments where I was sewing on the elastic. I was sewing the elastic onto the fabric edge, and my stitches would lose the fabric. So I'd have to go back and like really get the fabric up on, to like stick to the elastic and then sew over it again. And I used a ton of pins. I mean, that's just how it went. I think next time kind of what I'm learning is that if I do elastic again, I need to make sure, because I put the elastic right on the edge of the fabric, right? But I think I need to let the fabric overlap a little bit. I don't know. That was running through my head when I was doing it. But, I mean, it's a cool pattern. It's got like the, and I have not worn these yet, so hope I'm not being too weird here showing you the ins and outs of my underwear. But it's got like the gusset or the crotch fabric or whatever. It's like double layered, like, you know, real underwear have. And it's like a bikini shape. And yeah, I was pretty stoked on how these came out. They're, you know, they're pretty wonky, but I made underwear. Like, that's pretty cool. I can theoretically make my whole entire wardrobe from, what do you call them? What's like the industry term for them? Like base garments all the way up to, well, I haven't made outerwear. I have knit outerwear. Okay. So, yeah, this was my sewing project. And I don't know. I don't know exactly how I feel about it. I've always wanted to try sewing my own bras because I've seen Maria Monska from Stitched in Sweden do that a lot, and she got really, really good at it. And, you know, there's certain things where store-bought stuff just doesn't fit you that well, and bras are one of those things for me. There are no bras that fit me well that I've ever tried on at all. So I've always kind of been interested in making my own. But I don't know. I don't know if lingerie sewing is going to be for me. I don't know. Working on this too made me feel like maybe if I had a serger, I just keep like coming across these ridiculous, like, it's just so bad. Anyway, I've always kind of thought like maybe I should get a serger because I do really like wearing jersey garments. And so I want to sew more jersey garments, and so I thought maybe a serger would be a good idea. So sewing these, I kept thinking to myself, this would probably be a lot nicer if I had a serger, but I don't know. I've never used a serger, so I don't really honestly quite understand how it replaces the zigzag stitch, and you know, it doesn't matter to me until I ever actually have the opportunity to use one, so you know. So this is the Acacia, and I mean, I recommend it. They didn't work out great for me, but that's just because my skill set isn't there anymore, or that's because my skill set isn't there yet. But it's a free pattern and you can use scraps, so I don't know. I'd say go for it if you're interested in trying making underwear. And I know a lot of the indie sewing pattern companies have undergarment patterns, so I think it's neat. Will I do it again? Probably not for a long time. Maybe if my skill set gets better, I'll go for it again. But right now I think lingerie sewing is going to be set aside to make more room for garment sewing. Okay, that's it. That is everything I have made these past 2 weeks. But I have still been dyeing for Moonstone Dyeworks, so let me show you what I have. It is nothing new. You've already seen it this episode. I dyed a batch of Ursula in case anybody liked it and wanted to get some for themselves. So, boop, ba-doop, 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 doop, doop. Here it is. So I dyed some Ursula on merino sock, on merino single, and on stellina sock. And this will be available in the shop tomorrow, which is, what is tomorrow? I have no idea. Thursday, August 15th, it will be available in the shop. I will put up a post on Instagram and update the show notes below when I find out exactly what time it will be up in the shop. I'm not sure yet, but it will be up tomorrow. So if you're interested in checking out some of my Ursula colorway, be there or be square. It is moonstonedyeworks.com, and there is a link in the show notes below. Okay, is that everything? I think that's everything. Well, I have one more small favorite section. I have for a long time curated this kind of playlist on YouTube of songs and music that I am into at the moment. And I've decided to make it, it's always been private because it's just been for me, but I've decided to make it public just in case any of you are interested in checking out the music that I like, because one of the things that I'm very, very, very into in my life is music. It's a really, really big part of me and who I am and my life and how I live it and blah, blah, blah. But so I have made it public. It's in the playlist section of the YouTube channel here on Squirrel Pie Productions. And it's just called music, I think. I might rename it, I'm not sure. But it's a bunch of music videos. And it's pretty much, it's a lot of stuff that I love. It's kind of reflective of what I'm into right now. I like a lot of music, and it is not even close to encompassing like all the music I like, but one of the things that I restricted the playlist, one of the restrictions I put on me adding music to the playlist is that it had to have a music video. There's nothing on it that doesn't have a music video. And there's also nothing on it that is like kind of what I've loved throughout my life. You know, it's just all stuff that kind of reflects things I'm excited about now, right now. And my tastes constantly change. My tastes constantly build on itself. And there's maybe like a dozen videos on this list. And so, like I already said, it doesn't come close to encompassing everything I like. But there's some cool stuff on it. So if you're interested in music or what music I'm listening to right now, you can check that out in the playlists. I'm always going to be adding to it. And just a small word of warning, there are things like explicit lyrics in these songs. So if, I don't know, heads up. And yeah, I thought I'd let you know that in case you're interested. And I suppose that's it. Check out the Moonstone Dyeworks shop tomorrow, which is Thursday, if you're interested in checking out the Ursula colorway. Check out the Diaphanous Raglan. It's an awesome pattern that I think you should take a look at. And if you like this video, please do feel free to like and subscribe and leave a comment below. Check out the show notes and all of their linkage and stuff. And I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Have fun and stay awesome. Bye.